Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. So, I want to talk about backup today because I have some issues that I want to try and solve, and there doesn't seem to be any good information out there, and I'm going to complain about that today as well. So, pardon my hairstyle. As you know, and everybody got snow for the last 3 days in the blizzard of the century, and I just finished shoveling my share. So anyway, so I'm a little out of breath, a little bit tired, but I'm going to sit at my office desk and I talk to you guys about backup, okay? So, I have this problem with Windows backup, and that when the drive gets too full, and I don't know how to quantify that quite yet, but I've been working on it, that you can't do a restore. It can't find the image on the media. So we're going to talk about that. So the first thing I do is um, I go to the internet and not use Google to search for answers. And is it me, or is the only guys with advice working for backup software companies? Because I go to this site here, and first they knock, uh, Mace Windows Server Expert, or Adrian YCH underscore YCH orange check mark. This is at communityspiceworks.com. Topic is number of full images for Windows Server backup to keep. What server is that, physical or virtual? Then what operating system? Where are you backing up to? What is the desired retention period? Have you tried VM Agent for Windows? You can choose the backup only for certain folders, and AET, whatever that means, the retention as long as you need. Else, if it's a VM, use VM backup and replication 10x. With GFS and VM reverse increment, you can have years of retention with minimum storage. Well, who the fuck gives anything about that? What the hell's all the questions about? I want a disaster recovery full image of the server. I don't need all this crap. This kind of software was good for Windows 2003. This is the last backup software I ever used, and that's before Windows Server changed drastically on how they do backups. Remember the old days where there was no such thing as images. You had to install the operating system, install the backup software, and then restore from tape or portable disk or whatever you were using. And it was very tedious, and it didn't always go very well. So I'm going to say one thing right now. Windows Server Backup is the best backup solution I have ever used, and it came free with the operating system. You'll find that with Windows. Every time somebody comes up with a product that Windows doesn't do, Windows eventually buys the company or builds something better. And then that's what they've done here. Since Windows Server 2008, imaging has been the way to go. Now let me tell you what's going on here. So I've been imaging servers for many years. Um, for probably thousands of them. And I've done hardware level bare bones restoration with all of them. And I only have a few problems with them, and they're easily recoverable. So let's talk about the problem I'm having right now. Is that what I discover is that let's say you have a server, virtual machine, two or three of them on board. So it's a hypervisor. So you have two backup devices, and you rotate them daily, weekly, monthly. I recommend daily, but clients are lazy; they don't want to do it. Only if I swap them will they do it daily. So what I've discovered is that as far as virtualization goes, you can have a snapshot of every day of every virtual machine, but you can't have a snapshot of every day of the hypervisor. So the operating system that makes the backup, only the latest one you've done is available to you. So so you got to keep that in mind, that if you have two backup drives and you replace them every day, then you only have an image of a day old image of the hypervisor machine, nothing older. So what I've done, of course, is periodically I take a third backup disk and I call it a master, and I keep that backup on a shelf so that we can go back 6 months if we want to and restore the virtual machine from that time, and then restore whatever daily or not virtual machine, physical machine, and then restore whatever daily virtual machine we want from any day we've had a backup. So, sounds great, right? Well, no, it's not so great. So these two backups, when you rotate them, and these are 2 terabyte. I've used different terabyte sizes, but I find too big is not better. It's bad. I'll give you an example. I had one drive, 8 terabytes, and it had 100 and some odd backups on it. And when testing it to restore, it would time out before ever finding an image to restore. So it was useless. So what I learned is my rule of thumb right now is more than 50